Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream. This is the team selection video for Blank Game Week 32. We're going to discuss how we're lining up for Game Week 32 and, talk about transfers as well. And as you can see from the title, the free hit for me is active. So I will be free hitting, but we're going to get into that. We're going to quickly cover and recap Game Week 31. And then after, obviously, we'll move on to Game Week 32. So, yeah, let's bring up Game Week 31 and how it's gone. I'll bring up my team first. So, yeah, obviously, me and Jordan weren't available to stream together on the knee jerk for Game Week 32 on Sunday. So, yeah, Game Week 31 wasn't great, to be fair. I did get a small red arrow because of the Liverpool match. I was on a green arrow until Liverpool played, and obviously Salah scoring contributed to small red arrow. But let's discuss what happened. Ederson in goal. Now, what do we say about Ederson? Man City are comfy in that game, and they end up conceding a goal somehow to Leicester. So, yeah, clean sheet wiped with a 3-1 win for Man City in the end against Leicester. Back three wasn't any better. It was pretty poor all round. Chilwell obviously losing 2-1 to Brighton. Not much to really say there. Moving on to Trippier, who also blanked, didn't he, in that game against in the Aston Villa match. It feels like a long time away, that match now. It was 3-0 in that game. Obviously, Aston Villa doing brilliant, getting the win with Emery. Yeah, what can you say? It may be a shock surprise, a bit of a shock result. Moving on to Estupinian, who did concede a goal to Chelsea, that 2-1 away win for Brighton. But yeah, no return for Estupinian either. Moving on to Bruno Fernandes. Now, Bruno Fernandes did pick up a clean sheet point in that game, and that's about it, really. He got the 3 points in that 2-0 win for Man United. He was quite unlucky in that game, it's fair to say. He should have maybe had a goal, maybe had an assist as well, a couple of assists. So, yeah, a bit unlucky, I think, the Bruno owners that do hold him. So, yeah, only the 3 points. So, yeah, not much to really shout about there. Moving on to Saka, picks up a 0-pointer. He did miss a penalty in that game. Obviously, Arsenal did draw 2-2 to West Ham. Big penalty miss for Saka, and unfortunately, he ends up with 0 points. Mitoma also blanking again against Chelsea in the 2-1 loss. Sorry, the 2-1 win for Brighton against Chelsea. Solly March did pick up an assist, however, against Chelsea. That was nice to see, or a lovely 5-pointer. Not many returns in the team so far, but all the returns have come from the forward line. Let's start with Watkins. And that brilliant performance that he had with against Newcastle. I thought he was a menace all game. Newcastle couldn't live with him. 1 assist, 2 goals as well, and the bonus 3. So he ends up with a whopping 16-pointer, which is very nice to see him get that return. And that's now Watkins consistently returning now, which is mad. How the turnaround in Aston Villa and their fortunes. Moving on to Tony, who does blank in that game against Wolves. Brentford did lose 2-0 to Wolves, which was maybe a surprise. And yeah, not much to say to Tony blank. Moving on to Erling Haaland. And yeah, Haaland does what he does. Lucky that I brought him in again. Some people don't have Haaland at the moment. But Haaland does play 45 minutes and he scores 2 goals. And also picks up the 3 bonus points. And he was subbed off at half-time. So, God knows what it could have been for Haaland and Man City if he decided to stay on for the 90 minutes. But Man City took the foot off the gas after the 3 goals. They ended up just, in cruise control. But Haaland, 24 points, obviously being my captain. On the bench, I had Kepa, who did outscore Ederson annoyingly. And then Botman also got the 1-pointer. All in all, that is 59 game week points, which is a small red arrow down to 375k. Hopefully, I can get a green arrow in game week 32. But yeah, 59 points all out. Let's move on to your team, Jordan, and just talk us through how your game week 31 has gone.
Yeah, so it was a quiet game week, as you can see. We start off with Edison that we've spoken about. Obviously, he did concede in that Southampton game. Very annoyingly, again, Edison and Man City still conceding goals to teams they shouldn't really be conceding goals to. Moving on to the defence, which, yeah, we've spoken about Trippier with 1-pointer from him in that game. Ben Mee, similar situation. Obviously, they lost 2-0 surprisingly to Wolves. That was quite a shock of a result. So he got a -1 for the goals conceded, and that left him with only 1 point from that game. And obviously Lewis Dunk, who only got the minutes played, as it was 2-1 to Brighton. Moving on to the midfield, there's a bit more success. We have Odegaard, who did get a nice goal against West Ham in that 2-2 draw. And yeah, he got the bonus 3 as well on top of that. And so that leaves him with 10 points. And it was a nice return from Odegaard, as he has been very quiet in the past few game weeks. So it's nice for him to finally get a nice return. Moving on to Saka. Obviously, we've spoken about him missing the penalty. And yeah, because he missed the penalty, obviously that is a negative for him in terms of -2 for the penalty missed, which only leaves him on 0 points. So a bit annoying for Saka owners, and I can see it's annoying because he has been heavily transferred out since that happened. So yeah, a bit of misfortune for Saka in that respect. And finally, to complete the triple up on the Arsenal midfield, we have Martinelli, who did get an assist for one of the goals. So that did leave him with 5 points coming from that game. So in terms of Arsenal assets, there's been a few returns from them. Unfortunately for Saka, he could have had one if he did score the penalty, though. Moving on to Fernandes, another frustrating asset if you do own him. He only gets a clean sheet point. He could have had much more than that, but he feels like he's a very unlucky player to not get nothing from that game that Man United played against Nottingham Forest. But again, yeah, it's nothing, no returns for Fernandes, and yeah, very frustrating. Moving on to the last midfielder, and that is Matoma. He didn't get anything from that 2-1 win against Chelsea, but I'll say he's still a good asset to hold on to for the upcoming Brighton fixtures, as well as the doubles coming up for them. And moving on to the front two, we got Tony, who did get a blank in that 2-0 loss to Wolves. Very surprising result, but yeah, nothing from Tony in that one. He's very quiet, and yeah, Brentford were overly succumbed to Wolves' attack. Moving on to the final player of this game week, and that was Haaland, who was the captaincy pick, and he was the right captain to go for in terms of my team, as he did score 2 goals, and he got the bonus 3. And yeah, he got that mostly from not even playing the full 90 minutes. So that just shows you how dangerous it is if you don't own Haaland, or if you go against him as a captain, as he can make a massive game changer in terms of FPL by, well, in that game against Leicester, scoring 2 goals, and yeah, in that 3-1 win against Leicester. So it was a 24-pointer if you did captain him like I did. In terms of the team bench, obviously Leeds didn't have a great game against Liverpool. They did lose 6-1, which led to Meslier getting a -3 points, obviously for the 6 goals he conceded. So he's left with -1. And this is probably going to be very painful. But Watkins, obviously, is on my bench with 1 assist and scoring the 2 goals and get the bonus 3 in that 3-0 win against Newcastle. Unexpectedly surprised at this because Newcastle have been pretty good in defence. Even their away form in terms of defence has been great. But I never thought Watkins would score 2 goals and get 1 assist from that game. Moving on to Kilman, another surprise after getting a clean sheet against Chelsea. He also got one against Brentford, which was another shock on the bench. He obviously got the clean sheet points of 6. So, yeah, a bit annoying again for the only defender to return. That's on my bench. And obviously, Luke Shaw, he didn't play in the Nottingham Forest game that Man United won 2-0 in. But overall, the week hasn't been that great. again, it is another red arrow. I have dropped down to 648k, and I only had 53 points this game week. So yeah, hoping for better in Blank Gameweek 32, which we will now be moving on to.
Yeah. So yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, Game Week 31 wasn't great, as you can see. I mean, 2 red arrows for both of us. I mean, you had 21 points pretty much on the bench, which is a decent bench boost.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to Game Week 32 and look forward to that. And yeah, as you guys can see from the title, I am on a free hit. So let's discuss the team I've selected and who I'm probably going to go with on my free hit team. So most of you should be able to afford this team. In terms of budget, I still got 1.2 million in the bank, so more than enough budget to go around. The team is pretty much set. Maybe there might be 1 or 2 last minute changes, but for now, I think this is the team I'm going to go with. So in goal, I do have Johnston. Obviously, Palace playing Everton at home. I think he is probably the best goalkeeper to pick. Everton haven't been that great, recently losing a couple of matches. I think Palace looking okay. Again, obviously, Roy Hodgson showing that what a manager he is, that he comes in and he stables the ship. And yeah, Palace are playing quite well. So I'm going to take a punt on Johnston against Everton at home. Hopefully, he can keep a clean sheet, at Selhurst Park. Moving on to the back three, I've gone with Alex Moreno. Now, Alex Moreno obviously did pick up an assist in one of the previous game weeks. And I think last game week, wasn't it? And he's got Brentford away. Now, Brentford have lost 2-0 to Wolves. And Wolves aren't great right now either. And they're in poor form. So who knows what Aston Villa can do after putting 3 past Newcastle with Ollie Watkins. And I think I like Alex Moreno potentially for a clean sheet against Brentford and even for some attacking returns. So I'm quite excited to own Alex Moreno. And hopefully he can do the business and get me some returns. An assist would be nice as well. Moving on to Trippier, who I've selected in my free hit draft, who's got Tottenham at home. I think, yeah, I've gone with Trippier due to, I'm not sure about Tottenham. I don't think they're playing well either. They're a bit of a funny team. And yeah, Trippier's effective ownership is still going to be very high, and I'm quite scared to back against him. So I've included him in for that reason. And as you can see from my draft, which we'll come on to later, I don't have Harry Kane because I am backing the Newcastle defense to keep a clean sheet. So that's why I've gone without Harry Kane as well, who I'll come on to later. So Trippier's in the team. I've also decided to include Trent Alexander-Arnold after his 3 assists in his last 2 games, playing in that inverted right-back role, moving up towards midfield. And I do like him for that fixture against Nottingham Forest at home. I think it is haul-worthy potential. So yeah, I'm happy to own Trent Alexander-Arnold for Game Week 32. Moving on to the midfield now, Saka, Martinelli, the Arsenal midfielders. I've got both of them in my team against Southampton at home. I think Southampton at home is a great fixture for Arsenal to bounce back after their 2 disappointing draws in recent weeks. Martinelli's on fire right now as well, pretty much returning in every game, killing my rank. So nice to own him again. Saka coming off the back of a penalty miss. Hopefully he can bounce back. I believe it's a good game for Arsenal, and I could see a big scoreline here for Arsenal. So yeah, I'm including both of them, and hopefully one of them can get me a goal or 2. Moving on to Liverpool now, as you can see, I've gone with Salah and Gakpo in the midfield. Salah coming off the back of 2 goals against Leeds, and Gakpo with a goal and an assist. And I'm excited to own both of them for this game week. I think Nottingham Forest at Anfield is a nice fixture. Liverpool have just scored 6 goals. So hopefully you think they'll take some of that form into that Nottingham Forest game. And yeah, Gakpo is a good little differential. He will be highly owned, I think, on a free hit, but non-free hitters, I don't think none of them will be able to get to Gakpo. So I'm happy to go with him. Hopefully he can score in that game and get me a return. And yeah, captain, as you can see, is on Salah against Nottingham Forest. I think he is a standout captain for me this week. I don't plan to go anywhere else. Salah is locked on the captaincy. And yeah, Forest is a good fixture for him. And I'm quite happy to back triple Liverpool in this. Finally, moving up top, I've included Jesus as part of the triple Arsenal attack. He's got Southampton at home. I wanted to own Jesus for this fixture. He's 50-50. I could go Odegaard and bring Odegaard in and go 5 in midfield. I like Jesus as the differential. The only worry with Jesus is he could get subbed off early if Arsenal are 3-0 up at half-time. So if Arsenal, are comfy, he could get taken off early. But I'm willing to take that risk, and hopefully Jesus, I've liked how he's played in recent weeks, and I think he's a big miss when they subbed him off in that game against West Ham. So he's in the team. I don't know if that will change, maybe slightly. I might decide to bring Odegaard in, but for now, it's Jesus. Tony, I've got him in still in my team against Aston Villa. He might go out my team. He's one that I'm potentially considering removing, but he's got Aston Villa, plays Watkins. So we'll wait and see. I think I'm going to include Watkins for now. The only other viable alternative is Solanke. Solanke has West Ham coming off the back of a 15-pointer. So I could switch Tony to Solanke last minute. But for now, Aston Villa at home. Who knows? It could be a decent game for him. And finally, I've gone Watkins. I can't not include Watkins after his 16-pointer in game week 31. He's on fire right now, and I'll be very scared to go without him, I think. So he's in there against Brentford away. I think it's a nice fixture. Obviously, Brentford just lost 2-0 to Wolves. Aston Villa are on, chasing European spots. So he's a very good pick, I still think, for this week. On the bench, Guaita, Bueno, Totti, and Eze. Eze is a good pick. I wish I could have started Eze against Everton, but with the way my team's set up, it's hard to fit him in. So yeah, that's my free hit team, guys. I got 1.2 million as well in the bank. So yeah, enough money for me to go to other players if I want. But I think majority of this team is fairly locked. The only 50-50 is Tony. He could switch to Solanke and Jesus could switch to Odegaard. But for now, that is a free hit draft. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What you think on the chat. Do you like the free hit team? Is there anyone else I should have included? Let me know your thoughts, guys. And also, if you are enjoying the content, please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Anyway, that's the free hit team out the way for me. Jordan, let's bring up your game week 32 team. Talk us through how you're lining up and your transfer plans as well going into 32.
Okay, so let's start off with the goalkeeper. So I've had to put Meslier in goal. He's got Fulham away because Edison obviously blanks his game week. So that's to wait and see. I'm not really confident with Leeds at the moment after they lost massively to Liverpool and lost massively to Crystal Palace. So yeah, this will be interesting to see what Meslier can do against Fulham away if he can manage to stop Fulham. Moving on to defence, I have currently got 4 players in defence. So we've got Trippier, who's got Tottenham at home. You might notice as well, I haven't got Harry Kane in my team as of yet, but obviously I'll speak about that later on. Ben Mee, he's got Aston Villa at home. Very tough one. Can't expect a clean sheet the way Aston Villa are playing right now, but he's in my team at the moment. Kilman, he's got Leicester away. After coming back-to-back clean sheets for Kilman, this will be interesting whether he can keep another one against Leicester away. We've seen a bit of an improved performance from Wolves in the past 2 game weeks. Obviously, Lewis Dunk has a blank because Brighton don't have a fixture in the game week 32. Moving on to midfield, we've got Odegaard and Saka and Martinelli, who triple Arsenal, who have Southampton at home. So I'm really looking forward to watching this game. I think it's going to be very, very important for Arsenal to win this game. Important 3 points to keep on top of the table as Man City are creeping behind them. Moving on to the last midfielder, and that is Fernandes, who also doesn't have a fixture this week. Man United do blank as well. Moving on to the front 2, we've got Watkins, who has Brentford away, and obviously the player who's against him, and that is Tony, who's got Aston Villa at home. So both against each other. Don't really know if this is a good or bad thing, but yeah, obviously they're clashing together. So I'm hoping for a high scoring fixture between the two, and hopefully a return from one or the other, or even better, having both. But yeah, that is my starting 11 if you count Duncan Fernandes. I got 1 free transfer and I got 2.4 million in the bank. So you can already guess where my priorities are, because obviously Duncan Fernandes are in my starting 11, and that only means I have a starting 9 in terms of players that have fixtures. So I'll move on to my transfer plans now, and you can obviously guess that I am removing Dunk and Fernandes from the team to be able to fund a starting 11 into game week 32. So those 2 are coming out of my team. It was the last chance to win for Fernandes. I did say in the last team selection that if he didn't get anything against Nottingham Forest, then he would be out of my team, because it has been a while since Fernandes has actually got a solid return, and he's taken up a lot of money as well, 9.8 million. So yeah, that's the reason why I've taken out Fernandes. And obviously Dunk, he doesn't have a fixture this week, and he's part of my transfer plans to bring in the defender, who does have a fixture this week, obviously. So I'll move on to the next slide and I'll show you who I'm bringing in. So these are the two players I've decided to bring in. And yeah, the first one is obviously Trent. So this might be an obvious move, but the way he's playing as an inverted right back in pretty much near the midfield, and has Nottingham Forest at home, and we all know Liverpool are very strong at Anfield. I feel like this is going to be a decent time to bring in Trent, as we did mention in transfer tips. I think bringing in Trent early, and because obviously they have a double game week at 34, I think if Liverpool can keep up the form they had against Leeds, then I feel like Trent becomes a very valuable asset, especially at his ownership hovering around just over 20%. I expect that to rise very high coming up to the game weeks where Liverpool do eventually have the double. So I do expect a lot of things from Trent, especially playing in that position now, new right inverted right back position. Getting those assists in that other game as well, Liverpool had. I feel like he's going to have a nice return, obviously against Nottingham Forest at home. So that's partly my reasons for bringing Trent in a bit early, as intended. And my second transfer is, this might surprise a few of you, but it is Eze. With the amount of money that I had after taking Fernandes out, I was really spoilt for choice on who to bring in. And when I looked at Crystal Palace's obviously form, because Zaha's not in the team, it has created a bit of diversity between Crystal Palace players, like, for example, Eze or Elise. It's provided them with more opportunities to score, get an assist. And with Eze getting back-to-back returns in his past two matches and Crystal Palace improving under their new management, they have Everton at home next, which looks like a pretty good fixture for Crystal Palace to bounce back as well from obviously having a poor form with Patrick Vieira. But with this transfer, I feel like he's gonna do well, get an assist, possibly maybe score in this fixture. Everton have struggled this season so far, and Crystal Palace are looking to improve under Roy Hodgson as well. So yeah, that is my reasons for bringing Eze in. He is a differential pick as well, and I wanted to go for someone that no one really has, just to break the template a bit. So that is my reasons for picking Eze. And as you know, because these are two transfers and I only have one free, this will be a -4 to bring these two players in. So yeah, it'll be a -4 that I'll be taking for game week 32, but I think it is necessary for me because that's the only way I'm getting the starting 11 out of it. So, but I do have 3.7 million in the bank, so it's plenty of money to spread elsewhere. But yeah, that is my obviously my transfer plans going forward into blank game week 32. Obviously, my team benches are all blanks for the fixtures.
Okay, interesting. I remember you saying you wanted to potentially bring in Harry Kane. Obviously, you probably changed the idea. We're going Eze. I think Eze is a good pick as well this week. But yeah, team looks pretty good then. I've set up for 32. Got a comment here from Colm. No free hit this game week. I'm only looking at Haaland to Jesus, or if I find out he's not starting, then it'll be either Solanke or Isak. We'll be doing a wildcard 33 and bench boost 34 as well. Obviously, there's some people that still have their wildcard left, but yeah, you could wildcard 33 or wildcard 34. It could work because obviously not as many game weeks left, so you probably want to start using those chips. Obviously, this is my last chip left, my free hit. I have no left. I've obviously used my wildcard already. So yeah, hopefully I can navigate game week 34 as well. But yeah, that's what free hit 32 essentially allows me to keep hold of my Man City, my Brighton, my Man United, etc. But yeah, okay. If anyone's got any more comments, make sure you do drop them in below. And yeah, that has been pretty much both our drafts for game week 32. And just to add, it is a Friday deadline stream, so there is a deadline tomorrow. So make sure you guys don't forget it is a Friday deadline, and we will be streaming again tomorrow at 5:30 UK time. So make sure you do join us for that deadline stream. It should be a good one. I'm on a free hit. Obviously, Jordan's taking a -4. But yeah, it should be a good stream tomorrow evening. And just looking at the fixtures, obviously Arsenal playing Southampton tomorrow night. I didn't realize that actually until today. So yeah, we do have Friday night football, Arsenal at home to Southampton. So we'll have to see how our triple Arsenal assets do. But I think we've covered everything for this video. This has been the team selection for Blank Gameweek 32. Hopefully, a more positive game week compared to Game Week 31, where we can both get some green arrows. And yeah, anything else you want to add, Jordan, before we wrap the stream up?
Just one thing before I actually forgot who I said I was captaining. I'm obviously captaining Saka this week against Southampton at home.
What's the reasoning behind Saka? You've got Odegaard, Martinelli, even Watkins potentially against Brentford.
Yeah, the reason why I picked Saka is obviously because one thing, he's been heavily transferred out, so he has become less of a popular pick. I don't think many people actually pick Saka as a captain, especially from his missed penalty as well. But with the fixture Arsenal have, and the must-win fixture, I would say, because after this fixture they have Man City, so they need these 3 points for Southampton, and I do expect goals yet again from this game, and I'm hoping they come from Saka. And I know it's a mixed bunch between Odegaard and Martinelli and whatnot, but I'm putting faith in Saka this week to get something out of that Southampton fixture.
Okay. Dom also says no free hit. Just got in Trent and Moreno. Thoughts on Kane to Jota for a -4, purely based on fixtures and minutes? It's a tough one because Jota did score, didn't he? 2 goals against Leeds. Yeah. But the question is, will Jota start? He's a bit of a minutes risk. He played 81 minutes against Leeds in the 6-1 win. He played 60 minutes against Arsenal as well. And we also know Diaz finally is back fit from injury. So Diaz did get a few minutes. So Darwin is also there who can take minutes off Jota. So there is that worry with minutes. If you do bring Jota in, you'll have to obviously take that into consideration, that he's a minutes risk. With Harry Kane, you know he's going to play 90 every week, no matter what. Will I do a -4? I don't think I would. I don't think so. Obviously, Liverpool do have a double in 34, but I'd rather own Mo Salah, maybe even a Gakpo, who I think is more nailed than Jota down the middle. But look, Jota could pay off, as you saw, 2 goals against Leeds. But I would worry with Diaz now fit. He might take some minutes off Jota, but I would expect Jota to start against Forest. Obviously, Diaz not being rushed back, but Nunes is there. Firmino is there as well. But yeah, like Liverpool, their bench looks very strong now. You know, obviously, they've had a poor season, but injuries have hampered them as well. And you saw the players that they could bring on in that second half. So yeah, that is something to bear in mind. Did Mikel Arteta say Saka is on penalties, or if he's on the pitch, he will take penalties? Yeah, I saw Mikel Arteta. He did confirm that Saka will still remain on penalties. So for those Saka owners, nothing to worry about. He should still be on penalties. I didn't expect Mikel Arteta to take him off. I think that would do damage for his confidence if you take a player off penalties after missing a penalty. So yeah, Saka will still remain on penalties, which is good news for us owners. But yeah, that's it pretty much for game week 32 team selection video. If you haven't already, make sure you do drop a like on your way out. Also, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on any new content. That's it from the FPL Duo. Anything else you'd like to add, Jordan?
Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned obviously for the deadline stream, which is tomorrow. Should be an interesting one for our moves. And yeah, take care and enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your week, guys, and see you tomorrow. Take care and peace out.